Well, hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Lauren Cielo from Golden Rose Psychic Services.
And I'm Crystal Heinemann from Crystal Sunshine Psychic Services.
Welcome to MQA Live.
Yay! Where we are making metaphysics crystal clear.
And golden delicious.
Welcome, everyone. We're so excited to be here tonight. So, of course, MQA Live, welcome. This has been in its birthing inception for literally a human Homo sapien in a gestation period. It's been about 9 months that we've been trying to birth this. So thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for being so patient. You guys are so amazing. So we're so excited to be here. And of course, Metaphysical Q&A and Metaphysical QA Live is really our way of bringing Metaphysical Q&A, our podcast that we, of course, pre-record directly to you, right, in real time. So we hope that you all have brought some really great questions for us, just like on our podcast, even though that's pre-recorded, we're doing it here live. So get your questions ready for Lauren and I.
And we're not shy about hitting the road. If you've got a group in your city or town that would like to host us and ask us metaphysical questions, please just go to our website, metaphysicalqa.com, and click the invite us button, and we'll be coming to a city or town near you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we've got questions. Hello, Susan Rebecca May. We're so excited to see you. Hey, DB Anderson. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for your amazing review for us yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Lauren and I had met up and we're secretly doing some stuff behind the scenes that we can't talk about just yet. And we were both talking about your review for us. So, oh my goodness. Thank you. It touched both of our hearts. I mean, so completely. So thank you. Excellent. Hey, Brandy.
Hi, everybody. We see your
Charity
coming in. Hello.
All right. Excellent. Okay. Well, our first one, Lauren, do you want to dive right into it?
Well, let's do our gratitudes.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm so thankful for everyone. I'm so thankful for everyone. I'm so thankful for being here and with my cohort in crime, Dr. Lauren Cielo. I'm so grateful for this platform that we're here. And I'm so incredibly grateful for all of our audience where you guys are so amazing. And of course, I'm grateful for my bulldog, Luna.
and we're Metaphysical Q&A is grateful because we have almost 10,000 downloads at this point. So we're super excited about that. And we've been named one of the top 25 metaphysical channels on YouTube. So
oh my gosh.
And we couldn't do that without you. So you're probably at your computer right now, I'm thinking. And if you are, just jump right over to YouTube, type in Metaphysical QA, and start to follow us over there and click that. I don't know, Crystal, you know more about our YouTube channel. We brother and give notifications when new stuff comes up.
Yeah. So basically, if you subscribe to our channel, that would be really, really great. And, it says subscribe. And then they've taken it a step further. So I guess because so many people were subscribing to so many channels that they didn't want to be notified every single time someone else dropped something. So I guess you have to click a little bell that says notifications, and that's right by the subscribe icon. So if you click the bell, then you'll get notifications when we drop a new podcast. And we're back in motion, you guys. Sorry, we took a little bit of a break, but we're back in motion.
Excellent. And I guess just one more announcement before we jump into it. And that's that I think we've mentioned this before, but Crystal and I are creating a whole metaphysical training program over there at Metaphysical Q&A. And so we're hosting a free open house on June 29th. It's a Saturday at noon. Now, even if you can't make it live, I'm going to go ahead and put in the link for you to register right now.
Oh, cool.
Oops. Hang on. That's the wrong link. Hang on, let me grab it.
We hope that you join us. We've had so many people sign up, so we're really, really excited to dive in deep into our training. That's kind of what we've been doing behind the scenes.
And even if you register and you can't attend live, that's how we set everything up. We'll email you the audio from the free open house so that you can learn all about the new online training modules that Crystal and I are creating. I think you're going to really, really like. So.
Oh yeah, I really, really like it. So I know you all are really, really going to like it.
So are you ready, Crystal?
Yeah, let's dive in. I see that Mary Price Bonner. Hi, Mary. That she's the first one, and she wants a love reading. Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Well, let me see where.
I scrolled all the way to the bottom. She was our first caller at 5:32.
I see. Okay. So I guess maybe before we jump into a love reading, I think when we talk about the metaphysics of love, I think there's probably a lot of work that Crystal and I can do on this topic. I know for me personally, I always complain that for one thing, self-love is so difficult. Like I don't even know if I even know what that is. So I keep saying that I don't think there's enough words. And Crystal, don't you think that that's a big drawback to metaphysics is our language?
Oh my gosh, yes. To find words for what we're being shown, for what we're seeing is so difficult. There's so many things that there isn't really a language for just yet, it seems like. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, and even like when we're training students, right, on our separate platforms, me at Golden Rose and Crystal at Crystal Sunshine, and we have clairvoyant students over on that side, and even to say to them, "Oh, I'm sending Ankiyaya into the image to give a healing, and oh, I see that this happened." Those words don't adequately describe what's happening. For one thing, I'm not seeing anything. I'm clairvoyantly sensing it, but we use the same word. So it's confusing. So I think that with love, right? Mm-hmm. I think maybe Crystal and I will do a whole blown out thing on the different energies, and we call them all love, but they're not. They're completely different energies. I think the Greeks were a little bit ahead of us. Didn't they have like 3 different words for love?
I think so. Yeah.
So Mary, when you ask us, she just said she'd love a free reading, not a reading of love.
Oh, I jumped ahead. Well, maybe her reading was about love, and that's really why I read it that way. Maybe Mary's working through some self-love.
Well, let's take a look at love in her space. Do you
do it? Yeah, I'll do it. Okay. Well, you're in a growth period with your love, Mary, right now. So no wonder that's what I saw, because it's probably what you energetically sent me, right? It's sort of just what you showed me is this really beautiful heart, and it's pink, and I read pink as self-love. And that's the thing with Lauren and I, is that we read 2 things in our space. It's energy and information. And so energy is a color, and we just ask what it means, and then information are little pictures. So the color you showed me, which is the energy, is pink with little sort of green wings. Okay, so when I see my pink, I know that's about self-love. And then when I see the green, I know that that's in a growth period. And I'm going to explain that. And then of course the image, which is information, right? That's the heart, right? And that just translates into more love. So no wonder that's what, I saw when I saw that. So now the idea that you're growing through your self-love, just like Lauren was saying, it's such a broad term, right? Just like spirituality is such a broad term, right? Like what the heck is it? And like what the heck is self-love, and how are you growing through that? And what it looks like for me, it's sort of like, well, here you go. If you run love through your core, right? Like we all have this, our spine, you could think of it that way, but it's sort of like your inner core, right? And all of our chakras are lined up within like our inner core. And it's as if your higher self is wanting to sort of like shift the vibration of your core to like vibrate to self-love, and then sort of like vibrate out to everyone else. And really self-love, how you can start like running that energy. I mean, like Lauren said, I mean, there's a few different ways, but it looks like for you specifically, it's going to start with self-care, like self-nurture, sort of self-awareness. It's really starting with you. And that's what puts you into this growth period. So I'm asking, and a growth period is just really about you expanding, right? It doesn't really need too much of an explanation. It's just about you expanding into this. And what it looks like for you, this growth period, what it looks like on Earth is, our bodies get fussy, or we get tired, or we get a little manic, it's something a little bit like, for you, it just looks like you sort of want to rest. Like you sort of want to put your feet up and you want to rest. And the image that you're showing me is like grabbing some popcorn and putting on a movie or something like that this weekend. So I think you're going to chill out this weekend. And that's something about like that offers you enough self-love this weekend to sort of like jumpstart a lot of self-care, right? Sort of like allowing yourself to relax. And I know that seems sort of weird, right? Just sort of self-caring and self-relaxing actually leads to more self-love because you chose you. And I think that's the key, is that you're starting to choose you over all the other energies that are in your space, right? Like, especially as women, like we have our family, we have our spouses, our partners, our animals, the community, right? Our job. We have so many things that we take care of before we take care of ourselves. It looks like for you, how you're wanting to learn through it is actually choosing you first, because it's a matter of, right, if your cup is half full, right, or half empty. So it's like, if you're full, then you actually have more love to give. And I think that you've kind of been operating on a half empty type energy, not in your thought pattern, but offering everything love to everyone else before you. And you're going to start to switch that. That's what I got.
You said something that really my ears heard. I just think I said this to a client earlier in the week, that's how I can't at this point, up until this point, I can't really feel a wave come through me where I'm like, yeah, man, I'm awesome. Like I haven't got to that point yet, but I do notice my self-care. It's like, oh, I don't want to floss my teeth tonight. That I can always tell when my self-care goes down, it's that my self-love is bottoming out.
Exactly. And that's really what this is about, right? Pulling the awareness, because we're doing something in this, the astral plane, right? And then we're also doing something on the physical world, and the two communicate. So what you're experiencing here on the astral is going to translate into an example here on Earth. And there's your example, right? And it's really about learning what your communication is, right? Your physical body's communication in response to what your higher self is wanting to experience, right? And so that's your communication, Lauren. You got that, though.
Well, Mary, thanks for sending us down the love tunnel. That was fun.
Always, because then we grow.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I guess Susan's up. Is that right, Crystal?
Susan's up. Yep.
Okay, so I'll read Susan's question.
Okay.
How do I change my contracts and beliefs regarding my ability and know-how to produce money flowing in?
All right.
Do you want to talk?
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. I thought you were doing it. Yeah, I could do it.
Oh, I'll do the reading. Do you just want to talk about contracts and all that before I jump in?
Sure. Okay. Well, how do you change them? Of course, well, remember that contracts really are in the realm of your higher self, right? And your higher self always wins. That's essentially what it is, right? And we're just sort of, tagging along for the ride, right? And so how can you change your contracts? I mean, it's difficult. A lot of the times we have to live through our contracts, right? Your higher self, whatever it is, right? Maybe you're wanting to experience lack in this lifetime, right? Maybe your higher self signed some soul contracts where it's like, you know what, Susan, she's led a lot of abundant lives, right? She's, been millionaire, billionaire. She's been in the spotlight. You know what? Like, I think I want to really experience the idea of lack. And I'm not saying this is you. This is just an example, Susan. So your higher self wants to live through this energy, right? This experience called lack. So it's actually pretty difficult if that's what you have been experiencing. It's pretty difficult to say, hey, higher self, like, how do I switch up this contract? Because it's something that you came here to actually experience. What we can change, of course, is how we interact with our contracts, right? How we actually do live through them, because we do have to live through them. And how we can do that is sort of say hello to it, right? Sort of see what our awareness is around it, sort of say, and I had this in a few clients this week, and that's kind of how it shows up in my reading space. It seems like all my clients for a week are learning the same lesson, and then the next week they're all learning the next lesson. And the beautiful thing is it's what I'm learning, right? It's what I'm going through. And so I actually, a lot of my clients this week, were gravitating towards the whole idea of abundance and the fear of lack, right? The fear of going into lack. And none of my clients are living in lack, right? None of them are living in lack, but they all came to me with that fear of lack. And so, and of course, exactly your question. So I'm not surprised that that's what you're asking. So it's like, you know, and of course, everyone just wants to live an abundant life, right? Everyone wants to see how can we do this? And really, we could just change the energy and information in our space, right? So for example, my client who's very, very successful, and he came to me and he says, I'm just so afraid of losing my money. You know, and really what it came down to was his self-worth, right? His havingness to have all of his creations. And of course, then it goes back to mother and father healing and all this, right? Where he wasn't raised with much worth in his home. So this is, of course, the adult way to play out lack of self-worth, is running lack energy of abundance, right? That's how we as adults translate it. When we're kids, it's more love. And as adults, it's really abundance, right? It's really money. So how we can shift that, you have to really live through the contracts, but you can really shift how you work that energy, right? So for example, my client, now that we saw what we were looking at, right? We were really looking at the issue of self-worth, and it really wasn't lack, right? So you may think you have a soul contract that says, oh my gosh, I'm just going to live in lack. But quite honestly, it's really usually something else that we can actually, and that's the part we can change, right? It's really about your havingness to really have all of your creations. And it's about shifting your energy, shifting your, space, and sort of healing that mother-father wound of self-worth, right? And saying like, I'm worthy of all of my creations. I can live through them. That's usually how it works out. Is that how it works out in your space too over there?
I'm just sitting back here, I almost want to have a wave of I'm so awesome because I'm playing with you, Crystal. You are so wise. Oh my gosh. and she is wise. And I'll tell you why we're both wise.
Don't make me blush.
Of our clients. Because our clients teach us.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, don't you learn something every single reading, Crystal?
Well, I will tell you what, the client that I'm speaking of, it was my healing that I needed, right? I knew it was before going into that session, and a lot of you have been trained with Lauren or we have this thing called a matching picture, which means that my lack pictures, which really were just self-worth pictures, right, were matching his. And I couldn't read anything in his face. And I didn't know that going in. And I go, oh, we're going to match on something big this time. And it was exactly that, right? Lack of self-worth. But I would have never known that had I not read it in his face. And that's like the most beautiful thing about our work is every day I show up to work, I grow like an exponential amount. Because I'm not this wise. It's just what I'm reading in your space. And I'm like, whoa, usually my crown chakra is just blown because I'm like, what? That was crazy.
Well, that was such a great explanation of the two worlds that Homo sapien finds parts of itself in and how to interact with both of them. But I want to go into money because money is a sticky wicket metaphysically. Now, I'm going to tell you that it would be easier to find a buried treasure that nobody here on the earth knows, like nobody else is hunting it. Nobody knows on the planet that it's there, and you find it. That would be contractually easier than winning the lottery, because everybody who uses that currency, whatever your currency is, euros, dollars, whatever, everyone who uses that currency has a say in how that money is distributed among the people. And think of it, there's only so much money, right? So it could be very much that your higher self is a master creator, but has nothing to do with money. So when I create, I try to stay away from money, stay away from it. Don't, like when I'm using my manifestation tools, I do not try to create money. And I think that I'm working towards the next economy where there isn't any money. Because you know what I do? I'm going to confess right now, full disclosure. I sit with Onkiyaya and I daydream about this is what I do. I look around my room, right, at all my beautiful things. And I say to him, how could I have all of this with no money? That's what I want. And he said to me one time when we were playing that game, he goes, you know what? Your stuff would actually be better if there were no money. And I said, what do you mean? And like right over here, you can't see it, but I've got a little altar with a bunch of crystals, and it's sitting on a little table I got at IKEA for probably $20. He said, well, you see that table right there? He said, if there were no money, that would have been an inlaid crystal table that was handed down from your grandmother to your mother to you, and you would cherish it and you would pass it down. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. So as long as crazy light workers like Crystal and I sit here daydreaming to crash the economy, it's going to happen. So, having said all of that, we're not going to leave you in limbo, Susan. We are going to read your contracts and see what the deal is with this. I think it's my turn to read, right, Crystal?
Yeah. Go ahead. And then I've got a cute little story. So go ahead.
You want to tell a story first?
Yeah, real quick, Susan. So I'm up here in Oregon right now, and I'm a big paddle boarder with my dog. And we were out paddling this really beautiful area, and we had river otters just like, swimming next to us. And, they're so cute, and they do turn on their tummies and they do somersaults, and they have their food in their little bellies. And there's little beavers off to the side making shelters, right? There's bald eagles going up to their nest and creating what they're creating. Little salamanders coming up to the little lily pads, getting food and running back down to their home. We saw a little otter like just run into their little home. And this is all within an hour. And I just thought, and this is when my moments, like I'm really connected to Mother Earth when I'm out on the water. And I just thought, animals are the superior souls on this planet, because that's how we used to live, right? We used to live in an environment where we were completely provided for, where all of our needs were provided for, exactly what Lauren's talking about, right? And it wasn't until the money system was created where we became a slave to it. But every other animal outside of the Homo sapien has all of their needs taken care of. So that was a wonderful example for me to see how all of these animals are living so abundant, and they don't have a care in the world about money. And I thought, well, that's the energy I need to bring into my space all the time, right? That's the energy I need to bring in and be that carefree and that, free flowing and free abundant, and not even worry about the energy of money, right? Because money is just energy. Yeah, that's my cute little story.
And as soon as all those ones and zeros come out of the bank account, there's nothing, zero. All right. So
okay, go ahead.
So let's see. You know what? This is actually, I think, Crystal, you said this about the client you were reading. It's not your information, Susan. Yeah, it's not. It's your mom's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's see what we can do. And I know anybody that's ever heard me and Crystal talk about mother energy, that is the hardest energy to discern from yourself. Because I always say you were, gestated and raised, in your mother's energy field. So of course we can't tell her from us. So it's a little bit lower than your higher self wanting to have lack as far as challenging, right? The next one down is that you're running on your mother's information and you don't realize it. That's the next rung down of you not having much control over it. But of course, we're going to give you a healing. Now, I'm going to send Anki Yaya in, and he's going to start pulling this out of your space. And you know what? It's interesting because when it starts to come out of your space, it really is a huge expansion, almost like what Crystal and I have been talking about, just seeing manifestation and creation in such a different way. And when your mother's, counting every penny, as that energy continues to dissipate, the way you see manifestation in this, in I guess the earth plane, will start changing. Yeah. So I'll give you this one little tool that we give our clairvoyant students, and it's silly. It's havingness. And think of if you planted 100 seeds, how many would you harvest? Right? That's your havingness. So I don't know. When I first started looking at mine, Crystal, the very first class where I learned, mine was about 45% havingness.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning I'd plant 100 seeds and I'd harvest 45.
38.
38. We can remember all those years ago.
Oh, yeah, because I work that all the time.
Yeah. And it's really easy to do. Let's say you're in the shower or you're washing dishes and it comes to your mind. It's like, hey, how much havingness do I have for everything that my higher self is creating? And you'll get a number between 0 and 100. We see it as a gas gauge. And so you'll see where the needle's pointed, and then we just grab it, push it all the way over to 100% and padlock it in. And if you do that every day, then when you first look at it, it'll always be inching up more and more. And so that's why Crystal and I know ours, because we played with that needle like crazy, man. Get that thing over there. So I think that might help you. But maybe some of the things that we said, but do realize that Anki Yaya signed a contract with your higher self to continue to work your energy field here on earth, to release your mother's. I don't think it's really lack. You know what it feels like more to me? Almost like thriftiness, like
pinching pennies.
That's pinching pennies, right? Like depression babies, right? Oh my God, my grandmother, when you take the bar of soap and it's so small and she put them all together and then here's the soap. Did you have, you're younger than I am, Crystal. You might not have suffered through.
I did.
Those poor people. Anyway, I hope that helps, Susan. And thank you so much. You are such a loyal listener and participator over here.
I know. I love all your comments so much.
I know. Thank you so much. We're so blessed.
I know. Okay, so I went through everyone, and not everyone. I'm going up the list. And hello to everyone. I love all of you. Oh my gosh, so many wonderful faces in here from New Zealand, from Chicago. And our next question comes in from Charity. Hey, Charity. And Charity asks, what can I do about feeling drained by people all the time? Now, you and I know this one really well. You want me to take it, or do you want to take it?
I don't care. You talk. You seem like you've got something in your crown.
Well, I read her first, so I'll read her, and then you can talk about metaphysically if you want.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah. So Charity. So of course, I was taking a peek at you, and then Lauren's going to give you some. I'm going to guess that Lauren's going to give you some tools after I read you in your space. Okay. So why you're feeling so drained by everyone else is because you are the healer, right? Capital T, capital H. You are the healer, and what that means is, of course, healing is just to make make a change. But you're also you're a very strong empath, right? You're a sensitive, you're an empath, right? You're pulling in a lot of people's energy, and you're absorbing a lot of people's energy in your space. And a lot for you is around your second chakra. That's why I know you're an empath or a sensitive, because our second chakra, that holds our emotional information. It also holds our sexual information. But for you, it's I'm gearing more towards the emotions, because I guarantee that you can walk in a room and be able to read the room. I guarantee that you can feel that room. I guarantee when someone comes into your space, you feel what type of person this is, right? Probably 9 out of 10 times. It's because you're reading with your second chakra. We read with our chakras. And just like Lauren and I are clairvoyant, we're reading with our sixth chakra. That's where our clairvoyance is. If we're hearing our guides or telepathy, like with our animals, that's we're reading through our throat chakra. And just when you know, right, when you get that thought and you just know, like my claircognizance is pretty sharp, right? For some reason, you just know, you're reading with your crown chakra. Well, when you're clairsentient, you're reading with your second chakra. You're able to feel everyone. So for you, you sort of cord in and other people cord into you in your second chakra. And that's why you're so drained, because you're absorbing everyone else's energy. I guarantee you're the type that goes to the grocery store and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do anything else for that. I'm so tired. I just like absorbed 100 people's energy into my space. And you're able to read that. So no wonder you're exhausted, right? You go to the mall, you're exhausted. So for you, it's because you're so empathic. You're reading with your second chakra. Now, Lauren's going to give you more tools, but what I'm doing is I work with a healing master, just like Lauren works with his healing master, Ankiyaya. Mine is Cebu. Essentially, they're spirit guides that have a contract with us as well as our clients to come in and heal your space. Lauren and I don't heal our clients. Our healing masters do. So he's going in, and essentially what he's doing, I'll give you a visual before Lauren gives you some tools. Essentially what he's doing is he's actually like snipping, he has scissors, and he's actually snipping all these people that are corded into your second chakra. And then he's padding it with gold. And then what he's doing is he's actually protecting your second chakra, sort of with like a gold shield. Now, you want to be courted by some people in your second, right? If if you're married, you have a hot date later, right? Anything like that, you're going to be plugged in. And when he cuts these cords, it doesn't mean that you can't pick them right back up if your higher self wanted to. That's okay. But I think that, and when he does that, you're releasing so many other people's energy. And it's a win-win, because you're able to run your own information, right? And you're giving all of these other peoples that are courting you back, right? You're giving them back to themselves. So it's a good thing for all. It's a win-win. But yeah, so I just want to let you know that he's healing you. And then Lauren's going to give you some tools as far as what you can do in your daily practice. I'm going to guess that that's what you're going to do. You're going to give her some tools about what she could do. I gave you the how, and now Lauren's going to, or I gave you the why, now Lauren's going to tell you the how.
Great. Well, think of this. Think that you're sitting comfortably in your home, and all of a sudden you start to hear a siren, and it gets closer and it gets closer. It goes right past your house. Well, what happens to people like me and Crystal and you, Charity, and everybody that's listening, is
Yeah.
because you're a healer, part of you leaves and follows the ambulance. You're an ambulance chaser and you didn't know it. So now the reason that we do that is from our other lives. And we'll just talk metaphysics real quick. So think of, let's say 1,000 years ago. Okay. The vibration of Mother Earth was very much lower than it is now. So for a high vibrating ascended master or archangel or healing master like Ankiyaya and Cebu to get here and to be able to manipulate the density of the earth plane, what was a long shot, right? They're too high and the earth's too low. So in those lifetimes, you and Crystal and I incarnated, and that's how we healed people. Either we threw our energy into their field or we took their dis-ease into ours. And so it's a really, really old way of healing. Now, the vibration of the planet is so high that all of these great guides can come and do our healings for us. So when that siren goes by, what I do is I kind of say hello to myself and I say, okay, pull yourself back, Lauren. Stay in your energy field. Ankiyaya, go chase the ambulance. Now, if some of me did leave and chase the ambulance, I'm depleted. The paramedic whose space I just jumped into is now disoriented. Like, oh my God, what if he or she takes the wrong turn, right? Because they have Lauren going in their space, right? So maybe when you think about it logically, we can start to see, man, that's an old way. So I think I want to read a guide for her, Crystal.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Okay. And then maybe you can give her some protection tools.
Sure. Whatever.
All right. So now, Charity, let me see. Okay. You've got an angel. Yeah. That wants to work with you in the capacity of a healing master. In other words, the angel heals you and you send the angel to heal others. Okay. Now the angel is not well known. Her name is not an archangel. Her name's Tina. And she's got kind of what I would call it a bob haircut. I don't know why. I don't think I really know what a bob is. That must be some past life information. It's a little haircut like this. It's blonde. It's kind of choppy looking. You know what she reminds me of is what's the woman a knight on
Brienne of Tarth.
Brianna, my favorite.
Brienne of Tarth, my favorite. Game of Thrones, you guys. We're still in mourning. Brienne of Tarth.
So that's what she looks like. So Charity, if you haven't watched Game of Thrones, you got to go take a look at the female knight. Okay. And that's what your angel looks like. And she does. I mean, she looks like she's dressed like like the archetype angels that were warriors, right? From the Bible. Those weren't nice. I mean, they were like, so anyway, she looks like a warrior. Well, so does Ankiyaya. What does Sabu look like?
Yeah, he's more of like a mad scientist, like Doc from Back to the Future. Yeah, he's like Doc from Back to the Future. Like,
so Charity, it's probably best if you just start practicing with Tina. And it's so funny because she's not teeny. She's huge. No. Her name would be Tina.
Yeah.
So just start practicing. Like as soon as I got Ankiyaya, I was so excited. I'm like, go heal my mom. Go heal everybody my mom knows. Everybody my mom has ever known in her life. Go heal all my ex-girlfriends. Go heal, I have him heal the whole planet lots of times. So have fun and maybe watch the next time. For me, when Ankiyaya told me that part of me is chasing the ambulance, it became such a great test for me to see if I'm doing that again. So maybe, babies crying, dogs yelping, Lauren wants to go save, right? So, and I bet just us talking about it, you'll start to see some things where you're like, oh my God, I am leaving. I am trying to go help that person. Pull yourself in, send Tina. So.
Yep. And also have Tina, if you haven't heard Lauren and I talk about grounding yourself, maybe we'll put some links into grounding meditation or, we'll post something on, Facebook tomorrow or something like that. I know Lauren and I have some grounding meditations that can really help you. But all you can really do is, or one thing you can easily do real quick is just send Tina to actually create a grounding cord for you. It looks like a hollow tube. Mine looks like a firefighter's hose. You attach it to your first chakra, which is right at the base of your spine. You allow the other one to fall into Mother Earth's core, plug it in, right? Lock it in. I kind of lock it in like an oxygen tube. I'm an ex-flight attendant, so I'm sure Lauren has a different technique. And you just have your highest and best guides like create this grounding cord, and it automatically, our agreement with Mother Earth is that anything that is foreign within our body, anything that's non-beneficial, which is anyone else's energy, you can just release it right down your cord. And you'll get, if you start practicing that, if you could even, YouTube, I'm sure grounding meditation, I'm sure you'll find thousands of them, if not millions. And if you actually sort of do that practice, even once or twice a day, oh my gosh, you'll feel so much better releasing everyone else's energy from your space. That's just a really simple tool to do. And you could do it, in your car on the way to work in the morning. It doesn't even have to really be a meditation, but it is really yummy if you are feeling exhausted and just really drained to sit like a 5 or 10 minute meditation that just grounds you and allows you to like let go of everyone else's energy in your space. And, yeah.
And what I do during the day, I play racquetball. And so I can I'll be playing. I'm like, oh man, I'm really tired. So what I do is I just imagine this big, beautiful golden sun over my head. And I ask all my guides and angels to fill it full of, energy for me. And then I just pretend like I'm cracking it on my head and just letting the energy fill me back up. So I call it getting a shot of gold. And I do it with my eyes open. I'm playing racquetball and I'm doing it then. So that Crystal gave you a really good way to get rid of the other people's energy. And then maybe a little imaginary golden sun would fill you back up with yourself. So that might help.
Yeah, exciting. And we've got so many other tools coming your way in our training. So, all right, moving on.
Okay, so Brandy, is that where we're at?
That's where we're at.
Now, Brandy, there's two, right?
Well, she needs help on what to develop first regarding her abilities. Two questions or two? Oh, no. Yeah, I have Brandy with a Y.
Okay, Brandy with the Y. Okay, so let's see. I need help on what to. What do you want to say about that, Crystal?
Well, I already have information.
Oh.
Okay.
You need to catch up. You're so nice.
I was taking a backseat on that one. Well, Brandy, I was taking a peek at you, of course, while Lauren was actually reading Charity. So I did kind of jump ahead. And so there's a lot that I have for you, actually. So you want help on what to develop first regarding your abilities. So of course, what I did was I took a peek to see what were your strongest abilities right now. So that would be the ones that you'd want to develop. And what I got actually was your crown chakra as well as your sixth chakra. So if you were with us just a few minutes ago when I was explaining that all that we do is read with our chakras, right? We're just getting different information that we're reading from different chakras. And for you, what lights up, which means that you wanted me to focus on that, was first your crown chakra. So that's your clear cognizance, which just means clear knowingness. So you just know, right? You just know. For whatever reason, someone asks you a question, you know the answer before they finish talking, right? And you're like, what? Where did that come from? Right? You just know. And that's usually how it is. If someone's asking you a question, or if you see something and you have a quick thought of like, oh, I wonder what that is. And you get it right away, right? You just know it's sort of in your head already and you don't know how it got there. That's your clear cognizance, your clear knowing. You're reading with your crown chakra, which is kind of a spinning tornado right up here. So that's your strong suit. And then your second one, of course, is your sixth chakra, which is your third eye, right? And that's your clairvoyance. That's your clear seeing. So these are the two that are strongest for you. Now, this one, but when I say this one, you go white to it, meaning that you're sort of unconscious that you are really that clairvoyant. And just like Lauren was talking about in the beginning, like we don't see things like you are seeing us right now. We don't see things like that. I'll get either like a flash of an image, or I'll just know what it is, or I'll hear what it is, or, I'll kind of sense what it is. But when it's with my third eye, it's not like a movie screen. I will get just a tiny like flash of an image, and I just sort of have to pull my awareness. And most often when I start talking about it, like I'm just shown a little bit, right? Just like in the beginning, I saw a heart that was flashed, right? But the heart didn't stay on my reading screen for long. It was enough of a flash for me to catch it, right? Sort of catch it in the wind. And then once I open my mouth and start talking about it, and if anyone knows Lauren and I, we've got a lot to say, so we're never shy of words. But none of that information comes right away for us. The more we talk, the more information we get. So when I saw your question, I knew I had to talk about this, but I knew nothing else that was coming after that. And until I started talking about it. And that's how it is to be psychic. You have to sort of see it, know it, hear it, and you pull more information from it. So these are your two strong suits, right? Your claircognizance and then also your clairvoyance. So if you wanted to make it easy on yourself, those would be the two that you go first. Now, when you say, there's a few things in your question that really popped out at me. When you say that you've suppressed it for years, we all have, right? We all sort of carry, we're all psychic. We all have these abilities, none of us are special, quote unquote special. We just, we're sort of covered with plaque as the years go by, right? And we sort of work, especially with our psychic development programs, our clairvoyant programs, part of the whole, program is releasing all this plaque that we have over our psychic abilities, right? So we can have a clear tooth again, right? A clear vision again. But what I thought was really interesting was you said you didn't want to feel overwhelmed trying to jump into everything at once. And I thought that was really interesting because that's one thing that we talk about at MQA is that everything's just energy and information, right? So that whole concept of you running the energy of feeling overwhelmed is just an energy that you could just release from your space. Why feel overwhelmed? And I'm going to tell you this, that yes, these two are your strong suit, but if you were to dive in, they all interact with each other. And I don't know about for you, Lauren, but for me, a lot of the times I don't know where the communication's coming from. I just have it. I don't stop to think like, oh, that came from my crown chakra. I just knew that. Oh, I heard that. That came from Sabu. I heard him. Oh, I see an image. All of it actually just flows together. That's what I have for you.
Yeah.
Is that for what you have too?
Well, I was an engineer, of course, and I was, very interested in all things spiritual. I thought, man, that'd be so cool to be able to read energy. I thought that'd be, I didn't think about it a lot, but if I did think about somebody being psychic, I would think, wow, that'd be cool if you could be psychic, right? So for me, the reason that I feel senior in my reading space, meaning I have confidence in it, is because the way that Crystal and I are trained, we started with ourselves, like what is in this vessel, right? And controlling the energy and information that's in us and noticing what is that experience like. So what happened is I got to know what I say from the outer layer of my aura in, and I know how Lauren gets stimulated, right? I know that now. So it's so easy for me to look outside of Lauren to read, and I know it's not me because I know myself now energetically. So and it's not hard. It doesn't take effort, not at all. It's just technique. Yeah, if somebody wouldn't have come to me and said, Lauren, do step 1, step 2, step 3, now what do you see? I wouldn't be able to do it.
I would have been overwhelmed.
Yeah, I would have been.
Yeah. That would have been overwhelming. If you think about it, it would have been overwhelming. Yeah. But come join us, right? Lauren and I both teach clairvoyant psychic development. Join one of us, join Metaphysical Q&A training. Give it a try. There's never an obligation, and we teach you the tools. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, we give you a tool to release that energy, feeling overwhelmed, and run amusement.
All right,
that helps.
On to Brandy with an I.
Brandy with an I.
Were you peeking?
I didn't take a peek. No, I felt bad that I was jumping ahead. So I was like, oh, I'm popping out of my body. Let me come back.
Well, maybe we should do a little commercial break. So we just wanted you all to know that we're having a free open house on June 29th at noon. It's a Saturday. Even if you can't sign up live, or if you can't attend live, sign up anyway, because we'll send you over the audio. And we've been creating some fun stuff. I'll go ahead and post the link again up here. I think I'm gonna, for you to register. Yeah, here it comes. Okay. Now, having said that, let's get to Brandy with an I. What's holding me back from experiencing my power and fully expressing love? What's the best way to do that? That's one of the best questions so far, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, everyone had wonderful questions, but this is a very insightful question. Yeah.
It's like, boom.
Yeah, it really is. Yes, yes, yes. Go for it. Do you have information? Go for it.
I think I'm just going to read.
Do it.
All right. Let's see. You actually are bound. when I look at your aura, your body chakras, and when I'm looking at you here on Earth, Brandy, with an eye, you do have energy in your field that looks binding. Think of your aura as a big balloon like this, and then take a string and wrap around the bottom of the aura. It's cinch it up down there. So you, and see, when Crystal and I read, of course, we're reading in both worlds. So when I look at you and I say, oh, yes, when you bring my awareness to this issue, I look at your energy field and I'm like, oh, yeah, there is something in there. So congratulations, because you here on Earth can control that, right? If you have a contract that says, oh, I'm never going to have a high life. I'm never going to, be really stimulated on the earth. I'm not going to have those wow moments, right? I'm not going to know how to express my love. If there's a contract like that, like Crystal said, tough cookies, right? Now, I will say that our healing masters are very slick salesmen. And so we send them to our clients' higher selves to try to convince the higher self to change a crappy contract like that, right? But it's in your energy field. So I'll tell you one thing that I do, and I'll send Anki Yaya in to heal that, and he'll probably sign a contract with your higher self to continue the healing. But I want to tell you one of the things I was doing for a while. I don't know if you do this, Crystal, but I'll be, either meditating or, washing the dishes or something in my space, and all of a sudden I'll, have say something like an affirmation in my stream of consciousness, and all of a sudden I'll feel this energy move. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to keep doing that. And I do it for a couple of weeks and then it kind of fizzles out. Like whatever energy, movement I was getting, I got, and it's done. Well, do you do that?
Oh my God, all the time. Yeah, all the time.
So,
welcome to my life.
So I was playing with my aura for a couple of weeks. And so, and every time I thought of it was just, maybe, 7, 8 times a day, just would come into my awareness. And I was like, oh, let me just open my aura just a little bit bigger, side to side, front to back, and top to bottom. And I was like, oh, I feel better. It's interesting. So like I said, it was like a little cookie that, I got. So I get a lot more cookies out of the cookie jar. So I think that for you. And another thing that I have done with my aura is I go like this. And I pop it out.
I love that.
So maybe one of those 2 mental image pictures will help you. But again, I am going to send my healing master to remove that. It's in your energy field. And what I feel like is, I'm just going to say this. I feel like if you get too happy, then the flip side of that would maybe not make that big rush of happiness worth it. Do you know what I mean, Crystal?
Yeah, I do. I have a past life for you, Brandy. Can I jump in?
Please.
Yeah. Okay. So Brandy, of course, we're these eternal souls, right? So we're in this physical body, right? I'm in this physical body called Crystal, but this is just one chapter of my entire book of life, right? Of my entire book of whoever my eternal soul is. So of course we've got all these other lives. Lauren and I like to call them other lives, not really past lives, because I don't know, this whole time and space thing, it's shifting. Anyways, so Brandy, I'm getting something in your throat chakra as well as your heart chakra. Now, I wasn't surprised when Lauren right away said, oh my gosh, you feel bound. And I felt it too. And so this past life, other life came forward. And it's so interesting because this is a warrior life too. So all of our listeners must be warriors tonight, sort of run that warrior vibration. And you're a male in this lifetime, and you have the armor that looks like a sort of an X, if you will, right? It's like leather and whatever steel they make, and it like crosses like sort of your throat chest area over your heart and like this, but it's kind of big, but you've got like a big X, like that's how it's really made. And I actually want to like stop talking, like that's how much like I can feel this in your space. And you trusted in this lifetime. You trusted this sort of damsel, if you will. And you're actually, I think it's sort of like 1600s. It feels like sort of that time period, like, I don't know, the Puritans, I don't know if that's, or the Saxons or something like that. It sort of feels like that time period. And she actually was on the opposing side. But you fell in love with her, and she essentially made you trust her, right? You trusted each other and you fell in love. That's it. You fell in love. And, but you're like a really powerful warrior in this. And somehow through that love, you sort of ended up in the wrong place in this time and space of this fight that that your team, your side is on. And I actually see, please forgive me, I actually see a big sword that comes in it. This ends this lifetime, that goes through your throat and your heart chakra. And you're kind of just like this. And at that moment, your last moment is about love, right? And that how essentially that your love got you into this mess because you were in the wrong time and space, because of the love that you had. And you just really felt like a lot of your power was taken away at that time. So there's some throat chakra and some heart chakra work. It looks like that bounding is also over your heart chakra. So Sabu is going in there and of course, healing you and working through this. And you're probably going to dream a little bit over the next 3 or 4 nights. So just let you know, you're just working it out. Excellent. That's what I got.
That was really good. I don't think we have time for another one, my friend.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Oh my goodness.
I mean, we've got the tech down. I can still get our logo up in the corner there. I'll get that up there next time. But we are starting to shoot again. So if you're not subscribed to either our audio or video podcast on any platform where you get podcasts, please do so. We've got some really interesting friends that we can't wait to share with you. And again, sign up for the free open house.
Oh my gosh, yes. We're going to have lots of training. I mean, we have so many training points. So all of these questions that we read tonight, there's a tool for them. We have a metaphysical tool for you. And so we're really excited to create this curriculum. We're really excited to bring it forward. And it's going to be something that it's downloadable. So you could just go to our website once we get everything up and going and be like, oh my gosh, Crystal and Lauren were talking about a grounding cord, and there'll be something for that. Or how do I find my power? And there's going to be something, there for you. So we're really excited, of course, long-term goal, but we're creating right now.
Yeah. So why don't you give them your personal website too?
Oh, sure. If you're interested in my work, of course, I am a clairvoyant. I, of course, have private sessions and that I work one-on-one with clients. I do mentor sessions. I do clairvoyant sessions. I do, business mentoring as well. I do personal mentoring as well with my clairvoyant sessions. And I'm really here, to lift everyone up, right? I'm really here to, and I know Lauren is too, right? So we're pretty much of service, right? So we really want to help everyone out there. My website is crystalsunshinepsychicservices.com. So you can book a session with me. You can look at, of course, we both have our clairvoyant psychic development programs. I also have a program called the Ascending Woman. I do offer a free webinar with that. If you're not on my Facebook group called the Ascending Woman, please join us if you're in a female body. And I do offer a 4-week Ascending Woman workshop. And it's really about, well, Brandy with an I, it's really about finding your power. So maybe you'd want to jump in there. So crystalsunshinepsychicservices.com.
Excellent. And you can check me out on the internet, goldenrosepsychic.com and laurencielo.com. And remember, together, we make metaphysicalqa.com. Yes. And listen to our podcast. We love it. And we want your questions. Yeah, we want questions. Yeah.
Yes, we want questions. All right, everyone. Well, Lauren, I think we've done it yet again.
I think we have, my friend.
Where we've made metaphysics crystal clear.
And golden delicious. And we'll be back next month, first Thursday of the month.
First Thursday every month. Bye, everyone.